Thanks, listeners. You're joining us for our weekday radio show, Elko Live on KELK. And as we do on Tuesday, it's time to get caught up in Elko City news. So pleased to have our Elko City Manager, Jan Baum, in studio. And Jan, it's a pleasure to catch up on all the busy happenings of the city with you today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Lori.
Absolutely. We noticed that, and we're going to catch up on some of the council topics, and then we'll just kind of glide right in to some other cold weather news, because suddenly it's turned. We did want to bring listeners up to date with some of the main topics, I think, including the transportation service agreement between Skywest and the city, right? That was approved.
Yes, it was approved. So for people who aren't aware, for the Elko Regional Airport, we approved Skywest has us on a quarterly contract basis, and we approved the fourth quarter of 2023 contract with Skywest.
And it's exciting news in that the new aircraft that will begin serving us, I believe, is it December 1st?
Yes, actually November 30th is
right.
The CRJ 900, and this plane will have 76 passengers, and it'll have first class, and so that'll be a great change for our passengers, we're hoping. And unfortunately, it raises the minimum revenue guarantee payment that we, or the risk, I guess I should say, which increases the cost. And but we're hoping with the additional seats of the airplane that we will be able to increase our revenue.
And we also heard from Mayor Reese Keener in the meeting, Jan, that the schedule is improving on the Salt Lake City side, so those connections should be a lot more achievable.
Yes, we're really hoping that I believe it is today that the Salt Lake City Airport is opening their second part of their expansion, or whatever part it is, but where it'll be a little better for the connections. And we're hoping that, I don't know if anybody that has flown from Elko into Salt Lake is aware that right now when you get to Terminal B that you have to you go outside and then get on a bus and then go over to the plane, and that adds to the time, and it's difficult for some people to make the connection. And so I believe it's today that that will no longer be. We will be in a regular
just in a terminal gate,
right?
In
a terminal gate, a regular gate. Thank you. So we're hoping that those connections will be better. And I also believe that shortly they are going to move our connection another 10 minutes later. And so that will give people a little more time in Salt Lake to make their connection, because that has been an issue for sure for our passengers. Yeah,
it's always exciting to see improvements, expansion, remodeling, but sometimes it takes a while to work out those kinks. So the approved amount, the $421,000, that's for the next 3 months. The good news is, as the mayor pointed out, the county did step up with a huge contribution, and the Flight Alliance of Northeast Nevada is also taking off, I guess.
Yes, so we've had one meeting, and I'm hoping to have one shortly in the first part of November. And so what the Flight Alliance for Northeastern Nevada is all about is it'll be an alliance where we bring together public and private partnerships of people or organizations or businesses that are very reliant on commercial air service that comes into the city of Elko, or I should not say the city of Elko, actually our region, which is Elko Regional Airport. So it's called a catchment area, and there's an area around the airport, and it really it includes all of Elko County, part of probably Eureka County, White Pine County, and Lander County that use our airport. And so we're hoping to partner with with a lot of organizations in our catchment area, and hoping to help with funding the MRG, funding the Air Alliance, which in turn will be paying the minimum revenue guarantee.
And what people need to understand, Jan, is that this is a result of pressure in the industry. Nobody's holding anybody over a barrel. I mean, our community has rallied in a huge way, as you said, with all these regional and possibly private business partners, just to maintain the commercial air service that we have.
Right, and it's so important to our business partners and public partners as well in our communities. And So it would be very difficult to have economic development in our area without commercial air service. So it's really important that we hang on to that. And we know that some of the MRG, the minimum revenue guarantee contract right now it's getting really high, and so we need to make sure it's sustainable for our community. Which another way to offset a lot of that cost is marketing and making sure that people use the Elko airport when they're traveling. So fly Elko, right?
Yep, Fly Elko definitely helped to prop up this business and the local economy and to maintain this service, whenever you can. Mm-hmm. And just check out the flights. You might be surprised to see that Elko connection is, very reasonable. It is certainly more affordable if you can plan in advance. So a lot of people are thinking vacations now.
Absolutely. If you can get that reservation 3 weeks in advance, and always check the Elko connection, because sometimes it's very surprising and it's not very much more. And nowadays, when you do drive to Salt Lake and stay in a motel, the motels, you're happy to find one around $200, and the gas can cost over $100 to get there. So sometimes it's just not a big difference to just fly there, and it's much more convenient.
So go Skywest and go Elko. Talking with our city manager, Jan Baum, just kind of updating some of the bigger ticket items on last council meeting on the 24th. You also had a presentation on the public nuisance at the Elko Inn there at 7th, 8th, and Idaho Streets.
Yes, so we had an update for the public nuisance, and the update was that there are things that are moving. There were 4 items that were on the order for the public nuisance, and really all 4 of those are being addressed by the owner. And I know it's not a perfect situation, but it's definitely getting better. We had some information from Rick Moore, Lieutenant Rick Moore. He was there to speak on behalf of the police department, and the number of calls and the severity of the calls have really decreased, I should say, and so that was good for council to hear. And so they also have installed some security cameras, which the police department will have access to, which is great. And the big item on the agenda was the physical security at the location. And currently they have a property management company that is staying at the property and providing that security. And the order indicated that the security company needed to be licensed within the state of Nevada and be 24/7. And after looking into the cost that would cost to have a licensed company to do 24/7 security on the property, and the fact that things are improving and that the police activity has decreased, council went ahead and approved for us to amend that order to include that their property management company can provide that security service.
All right. And as always, if any nearby property owners or residents or people have concerns, report suspicious activity. But it's great news to hear that is a significant reduction in the number of calls to the property.
Yes, for sure. It's definitely a step in the right direction. And you're right. So if there are complaints, there's always the code enforcement officer at the city of Elko, and then there's also dispatch. You can always call dispatch or the police department and record or report any concerns.
And also on the agendas, we're visiting with Jan Baum, our city manager, getting caught up today on our Tuesday. Fantastic news in the presentation of the proposed recreation center and aquatic center. Rusty Barr was at the top of the agenda, the CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs, and just gave terrific news about this pool. And it's about a $17 million proposed project. The Boys and Girls Club, because they're building it, they get to save on things like prevailing wage, Jan, and so the dollar will go a lot further and the city will pay the club about, I think it's $420 or something a year to maintain.
Yes, I think right now the letter of understanding states about $400,000 a year. And that is actually what the city right now pays to fund the pool itself. And so it sounds staggering, but it's really what the city of Elko right now is paying to have the pool. And actually, we're paying more than that because of the repairs and the improvements to the pool. That can be hundreds of thousands of dollars a year as well. So that's the operating cost after you take all the revenue that we bring in, less expenses, and so net, the city is paying about $400,000 a year to maintain and operate the pool. So that is the amount that we have said that we will contribute to the new rec center yearly to keep it in operation. And I think it'll be a good, I think it's a worthwhile expenditure for there are literally thousands of residents that use this facility, and I think with the extended uses and services that this facility will provide, I think it'll be such an asset for our community.
It was exciting to see that presentation, and I'm sure there'll be more as the months go by. They hope to break ground, I guess, in the spring and have it complete by not summer of 24, but summer of 25.
Yes, that's what it sounded like. He said he was going to shoot for a Memorial Day opening, and so we'll see about that. But it sounded great. It'll have a teen center, which I think will be wonderful for our community. We need a place for our teens, and they got misplaced a little bit with the Boys and Girls Club when they took on the daycare, which is another service that is really needed in our community. And so it has a teen center. It'll have a high school, I believe he said a high school-sized basketball court. It'll have some workout, or
a fitness center.
Fitness center, thank you, fitness center. And then also I believe 3 indoor pools. It'll have a kiddie pool, a lap pool, and then an open swim pool, and then also an outdoor pool. So it'll be a great facility once it's done.
Yeah, very exciting, and it'll be constructed on the side of the existing pool, and there might even be a follow-up where they don't have to tear down the old pool, Jan, but they may simply repurpose that really cool, architecturally significant old building if we just keep it upright.
Right. Yeah, that's something that is still in the works, and we're visiting about what to do with that building.
All right. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Jan. Again,
You're
an
welcome.
exciting update.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Unless there's anything else, again, those were probably the big high points from the council agenda. Exit 298 lift station. That was super cool.
That is so cool. I know that not everybody gets excited about a sewer lift station, but it is a big deal, and I'm really excited about that. So with the water project at exit 298, and then also the follow-up of the sewer project at exit 298, it'll really open up that area for not only expansion and economic development, but also providing services to the businesses that are already there, and I want to say better services, I guess I should say, because they do have the services already. But I'm really excited about the water and sewer projects at exit 298 and the ability to expand that area.
Well, thanks on behalf of the city for all the good planning and the leadership from Dale Johnson and his crew. We were right on track for that.
Absolutely. He's doing an amazing job, and he's just really managing these projects well, and he has a lot on his plate right now.
Jan Baum is our Elko city manager, and we're getting caught up in city news. This is a day we set aside every Tuesday to bring our listeners up to date, and we really appreciate your time, Jan. By the time you get through with meetings and all the other meetings and then the many more meetings, it's a heavy lift. So it is Nevada Day today. We should say Happy Nevada Day. This is the date of statehood. We celebrated with a holiday Friday. But it's also Halloween, and so the city likes to offer some safety tips, right?
Absolutely. So I asked both of the public safety appointed officials, the police chief and the fire chief, for some ideas on some Halloween safety, and so a couple of things that they brought to light was the pedestrian safety. Obviously, that's one of the biggest items on Halloween is the pedestrian safety, and And the duty for not only to, if you're driving, please watch for the small children. They're not thinking about safety tonight. I mean, we'd like them to, but let's be honest, they're going to be on candy and probably not thinking about safety all the time. But so let's be extra safe tonight if we're driving in the neighborhoods, and then just remember, if there is anything that unfortunately happens, or you have a duty to stop and render aid until the law enforcement arrives. So please do that. If you see something that isn't safe or something's going on, please pull over and stop and provide aid for anybody that's in trouble. And then, if possible, use battery-operated candles or glow sticks in your jack-o'-lanterns. Try to have costumes without long trailing fabric, or that are just really, really dark and people can't see them. You know, if you have a dark Halloween costume, then try to have a glow stick or something that glows in the dark. Keep your decorations, especially dried decorations, away from open flames like light bulbs and heaters, and teach your children to stay away from open flames. Keep your exits clear of decorations that block escape routes. Make sure your smoke alarms are working. This is that time of year. Go around your house and make sure all your batteries are up to date, and just switch out those batteries in your smoke alarms. And then make sure you have CO2 monitors in your house as well. The other thing that we wanted to mention is it's space heater season.
Oh, yes. I've got one going in the office right now.
And so the fire chief just wants to make sure that people are aware that space heaters should absolutely not be plugged into power strips. That is a safety hazard. So make sure that your space heaters are not plugged into to power strips, and then keep them away from combustibles, and just make sure that they're not around things that can catch on fire. And when you leave for the day, make sure they're unplugged. Just unplug them. So just to make sure they're safe. They're a big fire hazard, and Chief said they've already had 2 close calls this year.
Yep, just from space, because you don't know, kids and pets and just anything can happen, really. So
absolutely,
yeah.
And people use them because it's pretty economical to just heat a small space rather than an entire room.
So something else, people are going to start firing up those chimneys, fireplaces, that kind of thing?
Absolutely. And before you use your wood fireplace or possibly your pellet stove, have somebody come and do a chimney sweep for you, so you make sure your chimney is free of too much silt or debris. So I thought that was a good reminder as well. So those are kind of our fire safety, fire safety items that we have on the list. And then with it getting cold, a lot of residents are accumulating leaves, which happens, especially if we get a windy day. That happens, really quickly. But the city of Elko does have leaf collection, and we provide garbage bags, and if people want to come pick up the garbage bags, they're more than welcome to do that. We have them at the Public Works Department, and that's at 232 South 10th Street. We have them at City Hall at 1751 College Avenue, at the Elko Fire Department at 911 West Idaho Street, and at the Elko City Landfill at 2200 Pinion Road. So we're happy to have you come pick up garbage bags for your leaves, and then once you fill them up, you leave them on the street, and they will come and get them. And there's a schedule of the leaf pickup, and that is on our website, so at elkocity.com, at elkocity.gov. I'm sorry about that. So anyway,
I do .com sometimes too.
I know it'll still come up, so just saying it will. And then we'll have that posted on our Facebook page, and then also on our website.
And I think it's important to mention, too, because some people say, oh, well, I'm so lucky I have a leaf blower, and so I just blow them out into the street. But that's a problem because it clogs the drains, right?
Absolutely. That's not good for our stormwater drains. So it's better just to bag them up, and we'll pick them up and dispose of them.
And there are lots of younger people, at least we found out in our neighborhood, that love to pick up leaves and put them into bags and get paid just a few dollars. So
Oh, that's, yeah, right. And that's an amazing thing, and keeps, little entrepreneurs, right? I love
Exactly,
that.
yes.
Support them.
Yeah, so let them do their leaf raking. And oh my goodness, it seems like it just got started. Golf season's wrapping up, Jan?
Yeah, so today is their last day. So today's the last day the golf course is open for business. And so the golf course will still be open, and you can walk the course if you would like. But as far as the golf carts and things like that, they're closing up the golf course, blowing out the sprinkler systems, and giving the grass some well-deserved rest for the winter. So, so we just wanted to mention that the golf season is wrapping up, but you can still use it if you would like, just by walking.
Nice. And if we do get some significant snow, people like to cross-country ski or snowshoe. They might take their dogs, but you need to police your dog and curb your dog.
Absolutely. We have had problems in the past with dogs on the golf course, and they absolutely should be leashed. And part of the problems is that the dogs will get into the ponds, and then we have people trying to get the dogs out of the ponds, and then we have a big hazard. So yes, please just keep your dogs on a leash and off of the ice and the ponds.
And that's a good plug for the Igloo, because I know they're going to have lots of family fun recreation. They'll have some ice skating as soon as the season hits. So there's no reason to actually tempt fate by walking out onto the ice at the golf course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just stay away from it. It's the best thing to do.
And also, city park maintenance crews are busy. They're wrapping things up for the season too.
Yes, they are. So they're blowing out all the sprinkler systems in all the parks. And then in addition to that, they've also winterized the restrooms at the different parks all around town. And so you'll see some Blue House restrooms around the city, and that's the city providing restrooms for the parks in the wintertime, so we can blow out the water, so our restrooms don't freeze up.
And that brings us to another topic, which sometimes we really need it, and sometimes we look over our shoulder and say, what happened to winter? And that's snow removal, right?
Absolutely. So with the colder weather will likely come some snow. And so we just want to say that remember that when the snow does come, the plows prioritize their routes, and they try to go around the schools, do the school routes first so that the children can get to school. And just be careful that you don't push all your snow into the middle of the streets so that people get stuck and things like that. So when the city snow plows plow, they plow to the edges. I think that years and years ago, before I was at the city, there was a lot of discussion and studies and everything around pushing snow, and that's the result, and that is the way it is. So, and keep your sidewalks plowed and free of snow so that people can walk and use the sidewalks.
Yeah, that's important. And if you have elderly neighbors or someone that has difficulty, if you can't help them out, I know in the past they've been able to call the city public works, and if they have someone available, they can come and do a quick little shovel for someone who's maybe has a disability.
Right. Yeah. So if that is needed, you're right. Call the public works. I'm not sure exactly, and I'll have to educate myself on that program on how exactly that works. But yes, if there is a need out there, and like you said, these same people that are raking leaves probably would be happy to also push your snow. So it just keeps everybody in our community safe. And then another thing with the cold weather is, it's time to blow out your sprinkler systems at your house and know where your water shutoffs are. And this is important because when it gets really cold, if you have a pipe that breaks or something like that, you really need to know where your water shutoff is on your house. And that reminds me of a story once. My husband and I went up to a friend's house, and there was water just spurting everywhere, and he had no idea where his water shutoff was. And luckily, it wasn't me, but my husband helped him find it. And but anyway, it's something that you should know where your water shutoff is. So, and then shut down and blow out your irrigation system so that you can avoid having any pipes burst from freezing. So. And then, let's see, I have a list here, so yeah, I'm looking at that, but.
And it's a good list, thanks to all the departments who contributed to your conversation today.
They did. They're just so great. We have the best management team, I'm telling you. And I reached out this morning for ideas for the radio show, and I got this amazing list. But also to keep your fire hydrants clear of snow and debris so that they're accessible to the fire department. And then just a couple more, just another thing to mention is do not put grease down your drains. That can clog the drains and our sewer system and cause sewer backups to your neighbors, and so it's just really something you just should not do, is put a lot of grease down your drains. And then if you have sewer or water emergencies, you please call 775-777-7300. And then also, as it gets cold, we worry about our homeless community. And so as it gets colder, we will reach out to different motels within the city. We've done this for a few years now. And there's usually at least one or two motels that are willing to help the city provide cold shelters for the homeless. And when the temperature hits 0, then the city will provide rooms for the homeless at these motels that are willing to provide that, and the city pays for those. So and that'll be coming sooner than we think as well. It's been getting really chilly.
Exactly, and you know, there is going to be a coat drive and a blanket and sock drive hosted by the Sugar Bush Gift Shop at the hospital. That's coming up in November.
Oh, that's great to know.
So
Thank
they're
you.
gonna, yeah, they'll distribute that through Underdog Ministries.
Oh, wonderful. That's just a great service. Yeah, that's great.
So even if it's not 0, it's still very cold. So
Absolutely, it is chilly. And then I just want to mention, so the city of Elko, for our utility customers, which is everybody in the city is a water or sewer customer, and we are implementing, effective November 6th, a new computer, like a utility payment system for all of our customers. And so this will be a big change for our customers, and so we want everybody to be aware of that. It goes into effect in a week, so November 6th. We've already sent out flyers to all of our customers that informs them of this new system. It'll be a much better system, and it will provide additional payment methods, including currently we already accept Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, but we'll also be accepting e-checks and phone IVR payments. And then this service also will allow customers to set up not only one-time payments, but they can schedule future payments. They can set up recurring payments for either their credit debit card or a checking account. And so it's going to have additional services, but unfortunately, even though it's the same system management that we're going through, it will not carry forward the current logins that residents already have. And so that will be a little painful, but please know when you log on to look at your account or pay on your account, you're going to have to set up a new account. And there's been like I said, there's a flyer that's already gone out in the mail to all customers. But then the utility office will also be available to help if people need help setting up their new accounts. And their phone number is 775-777-7135.
all right, and that their office is right there at City Hall.
Absolutely. And so people are more than welcome to come in and get help as well if they need.
Oh, that's great. They're so friendly there, and that's one thing that I almost hesitate to ask because I really sound like a dinosaur. I like to pay my bill in person, but that you're kind of trying to get away from that, right?
Well, you know what? COVID really drove that. And honestly, it's not a bad thing, and people are more than welcome to bring their payment in, or we have a drop-off box outside in the parking lot, and there's still customers that use that, and that is absolutely fine. But and also some people are intimidated by getting online and setting up an account. And if they need help doing that, just call and we'll walk you through it and help you set up that account if you'd like to set up recurring payments or anything like that so that you don't have to think about it every month.
Those are all great tips, and I guess the last thing that we have, Jan, that we can close with today is that there are still some positions open within the city of Elko, right?
We do have some positions. I always want to mention that we have patrol officer positions in the city of Elko. We have a few of those opening, and we just have an amazing police department, and they're very highly regarded, and it's a great opportunity and for any age, anybody. And so I just always want to mention that. And then we also have a couple openings at the animal shelter for the animal worker 1 and 2. And we're looking for in the animal shelter, one of them, I can't remember if it's the 1 or the 2, but that includes a vet tech. And so we are looking for a vet tech at the animal shelter as well as an animal shelter worker. And then a part-time laboratory technician at the sewer facility. And then a police records technician at the police department as well.
Those are all great professional or semi-professional positions, and they can work into long-time careers too with the city, right?
Absolutely, yes,
Great.
absolutely. I think the city is a great place to start your career or end your career, and we have a lot of opportunities for sure.
Well, thanks, Jan, for your leadership as always. We appreciate you coming on the radio show and bringing us up to date.
Well, thank you for having me, Lori.
Thank you, and thank you, listeners,
Happy
for joining
Halloween.
us. Happy Halloween.
Happy Nevada Day.
Thank you for joining us for Elko Live today.